Under a dark, starry night, 7-year-old Anita sat alone on her bed, hugging her knees tightly. She couldn't shake the emptiness she felt every year on this day, her birthday. At school, birthdays were full of songs, balloons, and friends crowding around with gifts. But for Anita, it was just another quiet day. No candles, no laughter. And whenever she asked her father why, he would say, "Birthdays aren't that important, Anita," and change the subjects. The silence around her birthday filled her with questions. But at her young age, she accepted her father's words, though they never truly satisfied her. As Anita grew older, the question from her classmates became harder to ignore. By the time she was 10, birthday celebrations had become a bigger deal among her friends. They would talk about party plans, compare cakes, and even bring leftover treats to school. One day, her friend Marian threw a huge party and invited everyone. The next morning, her classmates asked, "Anita, when is your birthday? Are you having a party this year?" "We don't really do birthdays at my house," she mumbled, trying to sound casual. Maria's eyes widened. "Why? Everyone celebrates birthdays." Anita looked down, wishing she had a good answer. "My dad says birthdays aren't important," she repeated. But Miriam looked at her as if that were the strangest thing she'd ever heard. Soon, word spread. "Anita doesn't celebrate birthdays." Kids would whisper in the hall. Some stared, some laughed. But Anita kept her head down, pretending not to care. Inside, though, she wondered more than ever why she was different. As Anita entered teenage years, she faced new questions and a deeper ache. Each birthday, she watched her father grow silent and distant, almost as if he were haunted by something only he could see. She wanted to ask, but every time she brought it up, he would change the topic, saying, "Some things are better left alone, Anita." The loneliness only grew. Her friends would bring her small gifts and say, "Happy birthday, Anita," with warm smiles. But Anita felt awkward accepting them, not knowing if it was really her birthday at all, as she'd never marked it before. Her friends tried to get her to celebrate, offering to throw her a small party, but Anita would always politely decline, saying, "It's just not important to my dad." Her closest friend, Aisha, pulled her aside one day. "Anita, do you really believe that?" she asked gently. "Or are you just saying that because he says so?" Anita paused, unable to answer. Deep down, she knew that birthdays felt important to her. She just didn't understand why her own went unnoticed. On the eve of her 16th birthday, Anita sat alone in her room, watching the stars. She'd almost stopped caring about birthdays altogether. But the curiosity that had shimmered in her heart for so many years finally reached a boiling point. That night, she couldn't sleep. Her mind raced with questions. Early the next morning, she found her father sitting on their small porch, a cup of tea in his hand. His face looked tired and sober, just as it did every year around this time. "Daddy," she said, sitting beside him, "why don't we ever celebrate my birthday?" He looked at her, a flash of sadness in his eyes that she had never seen before. For a moment, it seemed he might brush her off as he always had. But instead, he sighed deeply, his arms trembling slightly as he set down his cup. "Anita," he began, his voice heavy, "there is something I haven't told you, something I've kept hidden for too long." Her father's voice broken as he spoke. He told her of her mother, a gentle and loving woman, full of life and laughter. She had dreams of having a little girl, and they had even picked out Anita's name before she was born. But on the day of Anita's birthday, something went terribly wrong. Her mother had fallen ill during labor and had passed away, leaving her father heartbroken and alone with a newborn baby. "I never told you, Anita, because I didn't want you to carry the pain," he said, his eyes misty. "Every year, your birthday reminds me of that day. It reminds me of losing her." Tears streaming down Anita's cheeks as she listened. "Daddy, I didn't know." Her father took her hands gently, his voice soft. "It wasn't right of me, Anita. I tried to hide the pain, but I forgot that birthdays aren't just reminders of loss. They are also a celebration of life. Your mother would have wanted us to celebrate you. She would have been so proud." For the first time, Anita and her father decided to mark her birthday together. It was simple, a small cake and a single candle, and two voices singing softly as they blew out the candle. Anita felt a warmth she had never known, a sense of peace that filled the quiet space in her heart. From that day forward, Anita understood why her father had been so distant, but she also knew that birthdays didn't have to be a reminder of sadness. They could be a celebration of love, life, and the beautiful memories they shared. Anita's journey had finally come full circle. She no longer felt different or left out. Instead, she carried her mother's love in her heart, knowing that every birthday was a chance to honor her legacy. Thank you for staying till the end of this channel. Please like, subscribe, and share.